Hey everyone, welcome back to the Lion's Den and another episode in our Blue Collar Ballers series. Today we speak with Lance Bachmann, who is the founder of LB Capital. Now, Lance actually got his start by growing an HVAC business and eventually exiting that HVAC business to a private equity firm. And what he learned during that period is basically how to scale a construction trade business and then exit it, how to prepare it for exit and then exit it to private equity. So LB Capital, which Lance then started, is a company where he's built a team of people that go out and they find construction trades businesses, specifically roofing at the moment. And they find these roofing businesses and they have built out a great roadmap to scale those businesses and then exit them to private equity. It's a very unique model. You've got to listen to the episode to learn a little bit more. They become very, very ingrained partners in your business. And he's a really smart guy, has an awesome team at his back. And so they've done multiple exits now for roofing companies to PE. Really, really cool. Anyway, check this out. So Lance, I was on your LB Capital website and looks like there's a lot going on there. One of the tabs listed like many different companies. So I wanted to just start off right away. Like, what do you do at LB Capital? Are those all portfolio companies that you own? Are they companies that you've put a minority investment in? Like, tell me a little bit about LB Capital.
So I don't have any minority investments in any company. I either own 100% of every company or I own at least 50%. So there's I've done it once or twice, Nico, where actually I've probably done it 3-4 times now where I put in, hey, here's 10-15% equity into money. And guess how many times I ever got a return on my money? Guess how many times?
I'm going to guess 0.
Right? Because most operators, they think money's the problem. Money's not the problem. People are the problem, right? Money doesn't make you grow businesses. So, listen, I got beaten with that. So I had a few where I had opportunities to make money where I didn't invest because of that, and I would have made money. But I've never made money on it. So every one of my companies in this portfolio is either I own 100% or 50%. Okay, I have full operational control. So what we do at LB Capital is I partner with companies that are trying to sell to private equity. They're trying to scale and grow their companies. I partner with them. I don't buy them. That's what people make a misconception. I do not buy them. I partner. That means I take 50% of your organization. We then, my team, we implement sales, operations, processes, technology, leadership. We scale, grow, and then we sell to a private equity firm, which I have relationships, obviously, with a lot of them. I've sold now 6 companies to private. Well, 5 have been sold. I have one other LOI right now, be my 6th. And the reason why I don't buy companies is I'm not buying a headache, right, Nico? I don't have to work. I want to do this. I'm looking for hungry partners that want to work, that want to build companies, that want to scale companies, that want to do the right thing. And then we win together. If you don't want to do that, it's okay. Yeah. I have a very different model than most.
No, I like that model though. So in terms of like the day-to-day, when you go in and you partner with a company, you've now got 50% of it. First of all, are you infusing it with capital when you're getting the 50%?
Sometimes not. Okay. Now, no. I used to. Now, not all now. No. So if they don't have cash and no debt, I just don't do the deal. I'm not buying. I'm not going to partner with a headache.
Yeah.
Life's short. Okay. I'm 51 years old. I've done this. I don't need money. Right? Listen, I always tell people, if you don't need money, you really got a winning hand at the poker table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. So you mentioned a bunch of different ways to help improve these companies and scale them and professionalize them to the point where they're ready to exit to private equity. Yep. So do you have like a SWAT team of people that you send into these? Okay. And what is that team?
Bill Rizzo is my CEO. He runs my whole entire LB Capital organization. Other people on the leadership team is Kelly Masiris, Mike Shelley, Joe Lynn. She's my CFO, been with me for 17 years. I don't get involved, Nico, in the day-to-day operations with any of my companies. I manage from the P&L. I look at everything as numbers. It's not personal. And I look at the behavior of the leader that's in there, meaning my partner. Like, if you're not doing the right things and you're not grinding and you're not being with your team and you're not building a good culture and you're not working with them and you're always home and you're on vacation, partnership's probably not going to work out. I'm probably just going to say, here you go. I'm out.
Yeah. So what does the playbook look like? I assume at this point you have a pretty like cookie cutter framework playbook that you've done a million times. So like, what does that look like? What do you help a business owner, a partner with?
The first thing we do, we evaluate. Okay, where are you at? What's the location? What does the patterns look like for search volume? What does it look like? What kind of market is there? How many homes? All these things that just really you're quick to know, right? Okay, it's a good market. Great market. Now we know if we penetrate the market right, we can do it. Then we look at your salespeople. Can they close? Doesn't matter what you're selling if you can't fucking sell. Oh, sorry, if you can't sell, it does you no good, right? Like, so
Yeah.
you need salespeople, right? So if you're not a partner that believes in sales, that then we look at what you're charging price wise. Can you make money? You know, if you're selling a roof at 400 a square, you can't scale your company and really make money. You can't. It's bullshit. So, and what kind of pledge can you give your customer at that, right? Because you're constantly trying just to sell a job, not take care of an existing customer. So we look at pricing. We look at your advertising. We look at how your leads are coming, how you're answering the phone. So we do a full analysis of your whole organization, and then we just start putting the playbook in place. And just, it's not personal, right? Like, and the minute someone says to me, well, it's my son, I want him to stay with me. Well, if your son doesn't want to work, he can't stay with us.
Right. Yeah. So these partners of yours, they really upfront have to agree, like, hey, this is what I want. I want to scale this thing and exit to private equity. Like that's the goal from day one, basically. Is that right?
There'd be no other reason to contact me. If you don't want to become a multimillionaire and get that check, there'd be no reason to contact me.
Right. Do you have, if we talk about like the exit down the road, right, after you partner with one of these companies, so at this point, sounds like you've done this a few times. Are you tight with a few different like private equity firms who are rolling up the roofing industry, let's say?
Yeah, I know every single one of them in there. I'm friends with them all. I know them all. I've sold 2 of them companies. I've had LOIs from at least 10 of them.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm friends with them. I know these people, right? Like they know me. They understand what they get with me. If I sell you a company, it's going to be a good company, solid foundation, solid leaders, and I'm willing to stay on and help you transition. We just sold Munns to Persian, and we're still running it, and we're having a record month.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like they're the things you got to be willing to do to help out. But my team and all the partners I have understand that the goal is for everyone to get a check, but also keep that company growing and thriving because you're going to roll money up into the platform too, right? So if you're going to roll money up into the platform, hopefully it's worth 5 to 8 times more 5 to 7 years from now when they recap and sell.
Right. So that's usually part of the exit is like an equity rollover into the platform company.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell without that. That you can make just as much money, if not more, on the second bite of the apple than the first.
Got it. Okay,
It's
cool.
not like getting a check 3-4 years later, 5 years later. I got a check from one company I sold, and they called me up 3 years later, like, well, we're going through a recap. I'm like, how much is it for? And they told me, I was like, holy shit. It was literally almost the same amount of what I got when I exited. I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It was just years later. And like, they're like, yeah, we just signed this paperwork and we're going to get you a check. And I'm like, well, it's wire transfer. But still, but it was almost literally, I think it was maybe $1 million less than what I got at the table of closing.
Yeah. Wow. How did you get like tapped into this whole world? Because I know, it's a pretty well-worn private equity playbook at this point is, hey, let's go find a fragmented industry and let's buy smaller entities within the industry for a low multiple, roll it up into a platform company. Now it's a much larger organization. Now we can recap it or exit it at a much higher multiple. So there's like some multiples arbitrage going on there. How did you get like tapped into that whole world of private equity rolling up roofing businesses?
Well, so what happened was as a digital marketer by trade, I had one SEO for years, got into the HVAC space, exited there, and successfully and quick. Other people came to me in the roofing space. The guy that was a client at one SEO, and we took that in 1 year, 13 months, and sold that to Vertex. And then all these other people started coming to me saying, hey, will you be my partner? Will you be my partner? I don't have an M&A team. My social media inbox, probably the same way you found me, fills up all the time, right? And my team will just say we get back to people we can. So it's very hard to get in touch with me. But make a long story short, I said, this is a niche. And we're
Yeah.
pretty good at this, taking small companies, growing them, and selling them. And I said, and these people that are in this space, a lot of them are very good people. And I always say there's only two reasons why most businesses don't grow. You don't know how, or you don't give a shit to, right? You don't know how, or you don't give a shit to. And there's a lot of people will say, I don't know how, but they really don't give a shit, right? So give me an
Yeah, because
example.
if you did, you would go figure out how, right?
Or you'd go to someone that does, right? But this is how you know someone doesn't give a shit, right? So full transparency, I had a guy that was a partner of mine, less than 4 months. Company wasn't doing well. It was starting up, and he goes to Disney World for 9 fucking days with his family. Well, that doesn't work. I'm not going to Disney World 9 days with my family. And no offense, I never got to work again in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So he's no longer my partner, right? Like just that simple.
Yeah.
Right. And
No, it makes it.
Some people say,
You got
Lance, that's really messed up of you. He wants to be with his family, work-life balance. There will be a time for that. But when you give a pledge to build a business, there is not time for that.
Yeah. Well, you've got to be some kind of a psycho to want to go to Disney for 9 days anyway. I mean, maybe 4 tops, right?
So, and it's not personal. And the guy's a great guy. He's a nice guy. But that's where I say, it's not that he doesn't know how. It's that you just don't want it bad enough. And business is a tough sport. It's a tough sport. You got to want it. This is a grind. It's going to knock you down. People are going to try and take what's yours. So, the people I partner with, I try to pick the right ones. Don't always do, right? You just can't. But I try to do a good vetting. I try to do the best I can. It's gotten better over time, right? People think I'm their savior, because I've saved a few companies from going under. I won't do it no more. That's why I don't put money in. That's why if you don't have the cash with no debt, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to do it. And people say to me, why won't private equity companies buy companies that are doing 4 million or 5 million or 3 million? Because they don't want to buy a headache.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want to
so then let's talk about the size, because I am curious about this. So like what is the size business that you are looking to partner with?
Normally it's between $2 million and $6 million I partner with in that range. There's been some that are higher, but on average 2 to 6 million.
In revenue?
Yep.
Okay.
Probably
And
I
then
don't worry about as much because I can make you profitable.
Okay. And then you're trying to scale it to how big before private equity takes it?
25, 40 million in the first 24, 36 months.
Okay.
Just scale it, make it profitable, sell it.
Yeah. And you said you used to have a company before this that did what? Digital marketing, SEO stuff?
Yeah, SEO. That's what I was known for, believe it or not. People think I'm known in the roofing space. I can't help but be comical. Like, oh my God, you're the leader in the roofing space. You're Lance Bachmann. I'm like, I only been in the roofing space for 3 years, guys. I sold 2 companies and I own a bunch of them. Like, because it's that easy of a business if you do things the right way.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So what about, you mentioned the HVAC company. That was kind of your first foray into it. So why not expand HVAC, electrical, solar, all these different sorts of trades, fencing? Is it just because there's so many opportunities in roofing? It's like, why branch out from the niche?
Yeah, why branch out from the niche? And HVAC's definitely more difficult than roofing, right? Because HVAC, I got to go out and repair every little system issue, this and that. Roof's real simple, right? You have shingles, you have plywood, and you got tar paper, or whatever that paper is called, right? Like I've never been on a roof. I don't do it, but so you really have 3 things. Then you have siding, and then you got some paper around siding. It does not. If you look at what most roofing companies order, almost 90% of it's templated out that you use the same items over and over again. It's crazy. Where HVAC, plumbing, electrical, it's not. It's all different. And you got to have repair teams. You have to have technicians. Roofing, you don't need to. And it's just a different model. It's an easy model. There's really no subs in the HVAC world. Roofing's pretty much all subs. So it's a very different. You're really, when you're a roofing company, you're a pledge first company to your customer, meaning I'm going to give you a 5-star pledge. I'm going to take care of you. Then you're a sales and marketing company because all your work's being subbed out. You just got to watch the craftsmanship of all the subs.
Yeah. What about the people side of this? I mean, scaling a business from, 4 million in revenue to 25 million in revenue. I mean, I hear what you're saying about the subs. Like what does the org chart look like at a $25 million roofing company? Is it like 90% subs, or do you have to actually build an internal team
Now,
and
you
a
got to
culture and all that?
It's funny you're saying that because here's our org chart. I mean, I know you're going to ask that question, but it's a hell of a question. Like, but you can see org chart for all my companies, right? Like, we have. I mean, I'm surprised you asked that question because most people never ask that question. But right here, as you can see right here, these are actually all employees, no subs. For months,
Yeah.
you said 25 million. That's how many employees it takes, right? You have your canvas team, you have your salespeople, you have your project managers, right? Then you have your sales reps, and you have your sales leaders, right? Then you have your install coordinators, and you have your CSRs. These are all people that are employees on the org chart. These are no subs.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So yeah, I mean, well, that's the whole thing, right? These are all my company's different org charts. But the point I'm making to you is, yes, most people, you can't do anything without great employees. You need great employees. They're the driver of the organization. But all employees really want are a place where they can grow, they can feel good, and they know they're not going to get fired every single day.
Yeah. So you mentioned when you go in and help one of these companies to scale, you're looking at pricing, you're looking at marketing, you're looking at the sales team, all this stuff. What are you doing on the HR or like leadership development or management training? Like, do you guys get involved in any of that? Because going
100%.
from because 8 employees to now 40 employees, like that's a very big different company.
We have an internal HR team, as you can see right here. That's our HR team right there, right?
Okay.
3 people are in there, right? And then we have outsourced HR. We have 2 law firms we use also that we use full time. So yeah, HR is a big piece of it. Listen, I've been screwed over by not having my offer letters correct. Listen, you make mistakes when you grow fast. People don't realize offer letters, employees' handbooks not being correct. Every state have their own laws on different things, right? Who gets overtime, who doesn't, So listen, like every organization, we're not perfect, but we do the best we can. And really, I made millions and millions and millions of dollars of mistakes. And I think that's where people, they partner with me because they're not going to make those same mistakes that I made, right? Because I've been down that road before. So that's a big piece of it. Yes, HR. We have a marketing team in-house, internally, that we use. We also have agencies that we use. So yeah, it takes a lot. We have a full staff accounting team that we use that you have to have. We have a full IT team. That's just our accounting team right there.
And this is LB Capital, like at the holding company level, let's say. Okay.
Yeah, so and it takes a lot of people. I'm not in the day-to-day businesses. I deal with mostly the LB Capital employees, the leadership team, go through different conversations on strategy, what offices are going well, what leaders are doing the right things, what leaders aren't doing the right things, and we make decisions by that. I mean, every organization that fails is because of the leadership in it. I truly believe that. There's no other reason why you take 2 organizations that are selling the same exact product. One does well, one does shitty. I can tell you it's the leader over and over again. It comes down, does the leader inspire? Does he want to get people on board? Does she want to get people on board? Do they want to work? They want to be on the front lines? Do they care about their people? Are they going to help them get better? And it's a yes or no question. And your P&L reflects that.
Yeah, makes sense. What about on the technology front? I think I saw one of the portfolio companies on your website was like a Service Titan implementation company or something like that. I mean, when you go into these roofing companies, are you like making sure they all roll out Service Titan and they all know exactly how to use it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what got me into buying Titan Pro, partner with Titan Pro. I got Service Titan to go on the roofing. Me and R are very good friends. Service Titan's a great product. We discovered it in the digital agency world, HVAC world. I used it. Been a great partnership for me. Obviously, I have to grow fast, right? And scale fast. Service Titan is a big piece of it. I can't expect Service Titan to build my company. So I went and found a Service Titan consulting company. And I was using them. And I just said, hey, let's partner. We took that company from 2 employees last year, and we partnered in August or September, and we're over 30 employees already. We're the largest Service Titan consultant company in the country now in 1 year.
And are they only servicing your portfolio companies? Or no? They've
No,
okay. They've grown
they
outside of that.
all home service companies that are on Service Titan. Yes.
Okay, got it. Interesting. All right, what about the financing side of things? I know you said, when you go into a company, you want to make sure that they've got the cash flow or some debt or something like that to finance their growth. Do you ever get to situations where it's like, oh man, if we had another $1 million, we could grow a lot faster because we could get 6 more trucks on the road overnight, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you help them to get outside financing at all throughout their
Oh
journey
yeah,
with you?
I can get outside financing from anyone. I mean, I have good relationships with, obviously, I have a relationship with Enterprise Fleet, so we get to the front line there. All the banks I have great relationships with. Money's never going to be an issue for any of my partners if we're growing.
Okay. Meaning you're seeing the top line grow, then it's easy for you to go get debt.
I won't take that. I'll put my own money up. I don't need that. None of my companies have any debt.
Gotcha.
We don't take that. I'm not worried. Listen, if we're doing the right things and we're growing, we're going to continue to grow. We're going to skyrocket. People, why they think they need money is because you're doing a shitty job at running your business and you're not selling. That's why most companies need money. Money's the easiest thing to get. That's the easiest thing to get. Money is the easiest thing to get. That's a mindset. Money, financing, money. That's people want you to give you money. People want you to get their vehicle, buy their vehicles. People want to lend you money. People want you to take credit out. It's your mindset of you're afraid you can't sell.
Right. That's true. That's true. As you're scaling these companies with your partners and you're getting closer to the point of, now starting to have some conversations with some private equity partners, what is that process like for you guys? I'm assuming you've got part of your org chart at the holding company, LB Capital level, just preps a bunch of like due diligence information. Like, do you guys lead the whole like due diligence gathering and getting the private equity firm what they need and all that stuff?
So what I do is this: it's simple. For every company I sell, I've never hired a broker for any of my organizations. I sold them one. I can tell you the story behind that. Why I did hire a broker one time. Guy begged me to sign with him. I signed with him. Guy disappears. I'm like, yo, what happened to you, man? I'm like, when you're courting me through this deal, and he's like, you can't do this. I can do it if you want out. I'm like, okay, well, let me out. Listen, I know these guys. Like, there's only so many players in this space that are real players, and all of them, right? People don't understand. It's a very small world. HVAC, fencing, electrical, plumbing, roofing. It's the same 5 to 10 real players. Mm-hmm. It's the same, right? So if you burn a fucking bridge with one of them, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done, right? So don't tell me I can't talk to these people because I know half of them, right? And I know the companies that are doing it, right? So I got out of it and I sold all my companies. So what I do is very transparently is I bring a few of them in. I talk to them on the phone once. I tell them the organization. They know who I am now, these people. Are you interested or not? Some will say for geographical reasons or not, or they got other deals they had to close prior to it that are bigger. There's 101 different reasons. What's the turn I want to get? Meaning, what's the multiplier, right? So someone says this to have a multiplier for me. Some private equity firms I want to buy low. I don't want to buy a fair amount, market value. So they're going to buy more distressed companies or companies not growing as fast or things that aren't. So once I find out the multiplier, then I go into earn out. How long is that going to be if there's an earn out? Is there reps and warranties versus escrow? Quality of earnings, we already know. I'll either have my accounting team will put through the quality of earnings. We'll do it ourselves. Then we bring an outside accounting firm in and we'll do what's called accounting financials that are certified. I'm sure you heard that. And they do quality of earnings for us. Normally it costs between $50,000 and $100,000. This way they know they're getting certified financials ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that just makes their whole quality of earnings process that much faster. So by the time you sign the LOI, a lot of your stuff is already worked out. The only thing that could change the really end product in the purchase agreement is going to be if you have some issues that come up, maybe, not things like I-9s or W-9s, but you might have a license issue or some type of lawsuit out there you have to indemnify them for. So, but yeah, I handle it all, soup to nuts.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay. So tell me about
Successful ones. Going through my sixth one right now.
that's awesome. Yeah, we got to talk after this because it sounds like a lot of fun. Um,
Not fun. It's
what
probably the
about
most stressful thing you'll ever do. And it's not because of the money, because I don't need the money no more. It's my partners need the money. They want that money. They never exited before. So they
yeah.
all want their. So when you got 3, 4 people waiting to get millions and millions of dollars, right? I got to be on top of my game. And some are more stressful than others, right?
Yeah.
So it's not as easy. It's over. I just sold Muns a month ago, and that was probably the most stressful due diligence I've ever been through.
Really?
Yes.
What made it so stressful?
It was the largest deal the private equity firm's ever done, one of them. It was one
Okay.
of the largest deals. I mean, it was mid 8 figures. Big deal, right? Not
Yeah.
big deal, big deal. But in home services, that's a big deal, right? It's
Yeah.
a mid. It's not a small market deal, right? It's a mid market deal, right? And listen, these guys crawl up your ass. They know everything
Oh yeah.
about it, and they should, right? But then you got to answer these things. You got to come back, and you know, if a balance sheet changes
Yeah.
by $1,000, they want to know why, right? It's just these guys are hiring the best law firms. They're hiring the best accounting firms, right? You
Yeah.
mentioned Ernest Young. These guys aren't dealing with Joe Blow's grandma, right? It's just
Yeah.
a different thing. So you got to be on top of your game. You got to be fully transparent. That's why I do think Service Titan helps out tremendously. All that data is in there. So these guys, as you know, like you're a consultant. You can do a ton with data. You can find the truth very fast if someone gives you access to data.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the private equity guy, because I've been through a process like that too, and it is they're often not as organized as you want them to be, so they end up asking you for the same information 5 different times in 5 different ways, and you're like banging your head against a wall at that point. It gets kind of crazy.
The reason why they do that is not that they're unorganized. They want to see if you're being truthful.
Testing you.
Everyone thinks they're disorganized. These guys are smarter than me, you, and Peter Pan put together. No offense. I'm not being rude. Everyone thinks they're disorganized. They're not. They're asking the same question, almost like a lawyer, over and over again in 10 different ways to see what the answers are.
Yeah.
So that's why you're just better off just giving them the data sets.
Right. Find your answer.
That's what we do. We get full access to all the data. So we have a very different approach when we go through it because numbers don't lie. People lie about numbers, right? So like if you ask somebody what they need to make what they made last year, they'll tell you 200. Like, let me see my W-2. And I say, oh, it was a down year. It was a down year. What the fuck you mean it was a down year? I just asked you what you made last year. You said 200. Your W-2 says 120.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what we do is a little different. We just give you access. We give you access to wherever the data may lie. Right? We call it the Bible of truth. You ever hear that? Where do I go find the Bible of truth?
Yeah.
And wherever that Bible of truth is, if it's Service Titan, we give your analysts full access to it. Full access. Our QuickBooks, we give you full access. It's totally different. Yeah. Smart. Because the numbers are the numbers. And if there is a problem, I want to know about
it. Yeah. Amen. All right. Well, Lance, I got one more question or one more topic for you, and then I want to wrap up. So the roofing process conference, I saw something about this on your website. So what is that?
So we did our first one last year. I bought it from Dimitri, really nice guy. My vision is to help roofing companies really grow. There's so many good people in the space, and they just don't know what to do, right? So we've said, okay, we're going to max it out at 800 people, which we had last year, 800 people, our first year in the conference. We already have tickets sold. Majority of sponsors almost sold for this year already. We're still not even in March, right? So my goal with the conference is to help roofers really grow their business. Roofing, windows, siding, and doors guys, right? And girls. And I did it, right? Like there's so many goddamn fake gurus out there that talk shit, that never built a company, never sold a company, and they get up on stage. And that's what made me do it. I got tired. I was at IRE like 3 years ago. And I watched people talk. I'm like, this guy's a clown. He's never done nothing with his life. He's never built anything of substance.
Yeah.
And I just said, that's it. I'm done. And that's why I did it. And people are going to hear the truth. They know what the truth is. And listen, we got great response from our first one, like incredible response. So as long as we can add value and we can make people help companies grow, I'll keep doing it. If we can't, I'll shut it down immediately.
Yeah. So where is it? When is it? How long is
Marco Island in December. I think December 3rd to the 5th. 3rd to the 5th, Marco Island, 3rd to the 5th. It's a great conference.
Okay.
JW Marriott.
JW Marriott. Very nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And it's panels, speakers, networking
Yeah,
events.
2 full days of literally. We actually are doing breakout groups this year, and like one's for marketing, one's for P&Ls, one's for sales training. Like we took the feedback that people wanted, and we said, okay, we're gonna do breakout groups where you can actually put your people in there, and each breakout groups for 2 hours where you learn from the best in the industry. I'm bringing in the best in the industry. Ellen Rohr, right, for P&Ls. She helped build multiple companies. She helped build Zoom. She's on Service Titans. She helps run Service Titan for their whole entire financial set. Like you couldn't get a better P&L person. Budgeting. Tom Howard, my buddy, sold multiple companies. He's a savage, right? So like we're bringing in John Del Rosa for sales training, right? One of the best sales trainers in roofing. So we're bringing in the best in class to really have high impact with people.
That's awesome. Cool, man. So I guess, final note here. If there's anybody out there, roofing companies, right? Any roofing business owners out there, and they're listening to this and they're thinking, wow, this Lance guy sounds awesome. I want a multi-million-dollar check. What should they do? Should they reach out to you through your website, or how do they find you?
Yeah, I mean, the first question I'd ask myself, are you serious? Because everybody wants that multi-million-dollar check, and no one's just going to hand it to you. So you're willing to sacrifice? Are you willing? I say to people, are you willing to? It's called the 3 S's. I say to everyone, they're real simple in life for anything you do. Are you willing to sacrifice first, then suffer, and then you're going to have success? If you ain't willing to do those 3 things for 24 to 36 months, don't contact me. Don't, because you're wasting your time, right? Then if you are, then I'd contact me through my site or social media. If we don't get back to you, be patient. Somebody will eventually. Just keep trying. And then, if we meet and the synergy is there, we'll take it from there. But I don't make any promises to anyone, Nico, to be honest with you.
Love it. Awesome. Well, Lance, thanks very much for coming on the Lions Den. Learned a lot, and we'll talk a little bit right after this, but appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.